You can ignore a knock once, even twice, but not when it happens every night. At exactly 3:17 a.m., I live alone, top floor of a small apartment building just outside Pittsburgh. Nothing fancy, but it's home. I moved in after my dad passed. The place had history. He'd lived here for years, and the landlord was kind enough to pass it on to me without raising the rent. It was quiet, safe. I could work from home, order takeout, go days without seeing another soul. I liked that, until the knocking started. It began in early March. One knock, at 3:17 in the morning. I thought it was a dream, but when it happened again the next night, I knew it wasn't. Knock. Just once. Not loud, not soft, like someone who didn't want to wake the neighbors, but did want me to hear it. I checked the peephole the second time. No one was there. I opened the door. The hallway was empty. Nothing but the hum of the vending machine near the stairs and the flickering ceiling light. I figured it was a prank. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe someone drunk. I let it go. But then it kept happening. Night after night. Exactly 3:17 a.m. Always one knock. Always silence after. I started staying up to catch them. Sat on the couch, lights off, phone recording. And that's when I saw her. A woman, mid-30s, pale, long black hair that hung over her face. She wore a hospital gown. She didn't knock right away. She waited. She stood perfectly still, facing my door, for over a minute. Then she knocked, once, and walked away down the hall without ever turning around. I opened the door and called out. She didn't respond, just kept walking, then disappeared down the stairwell. I reported it the next day to my landlord. He checked the building footage. There was no one on the tape. Only me, opening the door and calling into an empty hallway. I started to think I was losing my mind, until I heard it again. Knock. 3:17 a.m. I didn't open the door this time. I looked through the peephole. She was there again. Same hospital gown, hair down, head tilted like she was listening. But something was different. This time, she was holding something. It looked like a clipboard, with my name on it. I blinked, stepped back, heart pounding. When I looked again, she was gone. I barely slept after that. I covered the peephole with duct tape, pushed a dresser in front of the door, started drinking just to knock myself out at night. But the knock still came. Every night. 3:17 a.m. I left my phone recording audio one night. Listened back the next day. At 3:17 a.m., there was the knock. And then a whisper. So faint, I had to crank the volume. It said, "Room 312. Let me in." I didn't understand. My apartment was 309. There was number 312. I checked with the landlord again. He confirmed. There was no room 312 on any floor. Never had been. But the weirdest part? He showed me an old blueprint. There used to be a room 312, right where the laundry room is now. It was part of a psychiatric care wing when the building was a hospital back in the 60s, before it was converted. A psychiatric hospital. I did more digging. Turns out, a woman named Eliza Warren had been a patient in room 312. She had schizophrenia, violent episodes. She believed her soul was stolen by a door with no handle. She died in that very room, 3:17 a.m. Cardiac arrest. The same time she knocks. I stopped staying there after that. I moved to a friend's house across town. But on my second night there was a knock at the door. 3:17 a.m. One knock. Soft. Deliberate. And this time, the door was unlocked. It swung open just an inch on its own. No one was outside. But on the porch was a clipboard. My name on the top sheet. Below it, patient status, transferred. Room 312. They say nothing good ever happens after midnight. I never believed that, until I got a knock on my door at 12:04 a.m. with a package I didn't order. It was a small, plain brown box. No shipping label. No branding. Just my name, handwritten in thick black ink, and my address. I live alone in a small house on the edge of town. Nothing but woods behind me. I hadn't ordered anything. It wasn't my birthday. No friends. No pranks. I opened the door slowly, expecting a delivery van. But no one was there. Just the box, sitting perfectly centered on the welcome mat. The air felt heavy, like the seconds had slowed. I brought it inside. The box wasn't taped shut, just folded. Inside, a VHS tape and a note. It read, "Play me. Alone." I stood there for a full minute, rereading the note. No one knew I still had a VHS player in my basement, hooked to an old TV I used when I was a kid. Out of pure curiosity, or maybe the tension in the air, I went down and popped in the tape. The screen flickered. Grainy footage of my own front door appeared on screen. It was me, earlier that day, taking out the trash. Then a cut. Same angle. But now it was night, and someone stood in front of my door. Back turned to the camera. Not moving. They stood there for 8 straight minutes. Not knocking. Not speaking. Just breathing. Then the camera zoomed. The person slowly turned toward the lens. And it was me. Same hoodie. Same jeans. Same scar under the eye. But the expression wasn't mine. It was blank. Like a doll someone forgot to finish. I slammed the power button. Silence. Then a knock. Not from upstairs. From the basement door. The one that leads to the backyard. I crept toward it. Heart in my throat. Knock. Knock. I peeked through the curtain. No one. Just the box. Again. This time, it was open. Inside. A Polaroid of me, standing in the basement, staring at the TV. From behind. I dropped it. Turned around. Nothing there. I didn't sleep that night. Next morning, I checked my cameras. No footage. Just static from midnight to 12:17 a.m. I called the cops. They came, looked around, said it was probably a prank. They left. I watched them go. Then I noticed something. On the rear bumper of the cruiser. Another Polaroid. Tape there. I grabbed it. It showed the 2 officers standing in my living room. From the same angle as my basement TV. That night, I bolted every door and window. Left lights on. Sat with a bat. 12:04 a.m. Nothing. 12:17 a.m. A knock. Basement door. This time I didn't move. Then I heard it. The sound of the VHS player turning on by itself. The TV buzzed. I forced myself down the stairs. One slow step at a time. The screen showed a live feed of my living room. The couch. The bat. But I wasn't in it. It was empty. I turned around, heart about to explode, and saw a third box. Sitting in the middle of the floor. It had a label this time. Typed. Final delivery. I didn't open it. I burned it in the backyard. But that didn't stop the deliveries. Every night since, a new box appears. Each one closer to something I've done. A secret I've never told. A place I've hidden something. A lie I told once and thought forgotten. They know everything. And I swear, whoever is behind this, they look exactly like me. You don't check your attic every day, but someone else might. When I bought the house, I was proud of myself. 30 years old, recently divorced, looking for a fresh start. The place was a modest 2-bedroom fixer-upper in a quiet Colorado neighborhood. It had charm. Wooden beams, creaky floors, and just enough character to feel like a storybook home. It was perfect, until it wasn't. The first few weeks were uneventful. Unpacking, settling in, adjusting to the silence of living alone. It took time, but I started sleeping better, working better, living again. Then small things began to happen. It started with food. I'd wake up and swear things were missing from my fridge, half a sandwich, a banana, a few sips from a juice bottle. I assumed I was just forgetting. But it kept happening. Next, it was the doors. I always locked my bedroom door at night. Always. But twice in 1 week, I woke up to find it unlocked and slightly open. That's when the paranoia began. I changed the locks. I installed motion lights out front. But it wasn't until the attic door was open one morning that I truly lost it. Let me be clear. The attic was sealed shut. I hadn't even touched it since moving in. The wooden hatch was in the hallway ceiling, just above the linen closet, with one of those retractable ladders. But there it was. Open. Not wide, but enough to see the black void above. Enough to smell the dust, and something else, sour, like rotting fruit and mold. I stood there, frozen, holding my coffee, heart racing. Then I heard it. A thud. Soft. Above me. I didn't go up. I couldn't. Instead, I called a friend, Matt, and asked him to come over that night. I think there's something in my attic, I told him. He laughed until he saw the open hatch. We both geared up like kids on a ghost hunt. Flashlights, gloves, a baseball bat. Matt climbed up first. I followed. It was cramped, dark, full of insulation and cobwebs. But we saw it immediately. A sleeping bag, crumbs, empty water bottles, even a stack of my missing protein bars. There was also a little notebook. Scribbled drawings. Childish sketches of me. Sleeping. Showering. Eating. All from different angles, inside my house. My blood ran cold. We backed out, locked the hatch, and called the police. When they came, they searched the attic. No one was there. But they believed me. One officer said it wasn't the first time they'd seen this. Creepers, he called them. People who find ways into homes, attics, basements, crawl spaces, and live there undetected. I installed cameras the next day. Front door, back door, inside the living room. Everything was quiet for a while. Until one night. I woke up choking. There was something over my mouth. Cloth, maybe. I fought, thrashed. It slipped, and I screamed. The figure bolted. I heard feet pounding down the hallway, and the sound of the back door slamming shut. By the time police arrived, he was long gone. They checked the cameras. He'd come in through the attic. He knew I was watching the doors now, so he'd waited. For weeks. He'd been hiding up there again, despite the lock, waiting for me to stop checking, watching me from the air vents, moving only when I wasn't home. That same sour smell came back. I couldn't sleep for weeks. Every sound made me flinch. I sold the house 3 months later. To this day, I still wake up at night and stare at the ceiling. Even though my new place doesn't have an attic, I still catch myself glancing up, imagining the face of that thing. Because let's be honest, it wasn't just a man. It was something else. Something patient. Something that liked watching more than hurting. And I think that's what still haunts me. He wasn't trying to kill me. He just wanted to live with me. Quietly. Secretly. Right above my head.